Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. President Muhammadu Buhari says he's determined to end insurgency in Nigeria, calls it a task that must be done. Nigerian army dismisses and jails Brigadier General Ransome-Kuti for failing to perform military duties in Baga, Borno State. Former Governor of Akpabio, Akpabio, is quizzed by the EFCC for alleged fraud. And Turkey says no deal on the European Union Action Plan on migrant crisis. Now, a quick reminder to you that all our top stories are on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. And do visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. And we urge you to interact with the Eyewitness feature in the Channels TV app on the Android, iOS and Windows platforms. If you have pictures or videos to share with us, tap the app on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu and follow the instructions. Now, here are some of those pictures that were sent in to us. First is this one showing a massive queue at a bank's automated teller machine on Pipeline Road in Ilorin. Our Eyewitness reporter says bank customers are going through hardship as they try to use the ATM, and the necessary authorities should do something about it. Next is this dangerous bridge along Jaba Ilorin Road. Our reporter says the bridge can only take one vehicle at a time. Residents are therefore asking the government to come and repair the bridge. Finally is this picture of a high-tension cable on Old Jume's Yard Road in Suleja. Our Eyewitness reporter warns of the danger it poses to residents and the people of the area, calling on the Power Holding Company of Nigeria to rectify the situation. Thanks for sending in all your pictures, and do send us more as they're useful to us here on Channels Television. Now, the former governor of Akwa Ibom State, Akpabio, is being quizzed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Senator Akpabio, who is also the Senate's minority leader, was accompanied to the EFCC office by his lawyers and a few aides. He's charged for allegedly misappropriating 108.1 billion naira while serving as governor of Akwa Ibom State. Judgment in an appeal filed by the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, challenging the legality of his arraignment at the Code of Conduct Tribunal will be delivered on Monday. The Senate President had asked the Court of Appeal, headed by Justice Moore Adume, to set aside the proceedings of the tribunal held last month. Dr. Saraki's counsel, Mr. Joseph Daudu, in arguing the appeal, asked the court to set aside the charges of false declaration of assets filed against him by the federal government. He also challenged the composition of the Code of Conduct Tribunal, in which only 2 members sat instead of 3. Objecting to the appeal, counsel to the federal government, Mr. Rotimi Jacob, asked the Court of Appeal to dismiss the appeal for lacking merit.
5 issues were argued: whether the tribunal was properly constituted, if it had the right number, and a lot of other serious jurisdictional issues. The court has taken arguments and will give judgment on Monday at 2 p.m.
We have argued comprehensively in our brief to the effect that the Constitution that provide for the composition or establish the Code of Conduct Tribunal only created a tribunal with 3 members, and that did not state the quorum, the number of them that must sit to conduct or to exercise judicial power conferred on the Code of Conduct Tribunal. Is for this court to look at it, whether the 3 members must sit simultaneously or whether the interpretation act will be applicable to the case.
And now to some health issues. What's your opinion about cleanliness? Well, UNICEF says we're not doing too well in Nigeria, and this causes the death of about 800 children daily. You would ask, how is this possible? Latest reports from UNICEF say this is through diarrhea. It usually comes through poor sanitation and inadequate water supply. According to the UNICEF's chief of communication, Children in the first month of their lives are very vulnerable to diseases, and these are transmitted through unwashed hands. Going by that report, an average of 82% wash their hands before eating, while only 53% actually wash their hands with soap. The report says regular hand washing will reduce child deaths. And joining me to look at the implication of some of our poor sanitary habits is a public health physician, Dr. Amos Azu. Thank you so much for joining us on the News at 10.
Thank you.
Well, you've heard the report there from UNICEF. Do you share this opinion in your practice as a public health professional in terms of diarrhea, the number of deaths and washing hand practices?
Yes, it is rather sad that we have such a huge figure from people dying from a preventable disease like diarrhea. To me, that figure is even more than that, I think, right? Because where would they have gotten the figures from? From those that present at the hospitals. If you die at home, like in rural communities where access to information is very low, there are a lot of death from there, and it is if we're to collate it together, it will even be more. But it's sad that in this age and time in Nigeria, we're still having such a high figure from that.
What then are our primary healthcare centers doing? Is that not their role to be the first responders when a child presents with something like that?
It's yes, there are different ways. One, the role of the mother at home. What is the cause of this diarrhea in the first place? She has a part to play. The hospitals where they present or the health centers where they present have their own part to play. Anyone that gets to the hospital, for instance, will be averted, right? But the ones that happen at home is where the problem is.
Is that really where the problem is? Some people report that the challenge they have is when they get to the hospital and it's not managed effectively.
Really, if it's an accredited facility, managing diarrhea is the most simple thing, really. But the problem is basically that which happens at home, right? The child is stooling. What does the mother do? What does the mother even know to do? Okay, it's not like, okay, you come to the hospital is turning you back. No, that's not the case. It's more like deaths that occur before they present at the hospital, or if they come very late, okay, whereby the complications are so huge that it's very difficult to turn around.
Well, is there anything in your experience you're noticing in terms of the rise we're seeing now? I mean, diarrhea has always been there, but if this report is telling us that as many as we have are dying, is there anything you see as being the cause of that beyond mismanagement from the home?
Well, the figure, before we make a statement concerning the figure, we have to check the past figures. Is it increasing or it's decreasing? There's a figure, fine. We have to compare with the last figure we probably had. For me, deaths are commoner in rural areas, okay, where their hygiene is very low, okay, where is their source of water, for instance, what is the distance from where they cook to their toilet. All of this put together is what will make the figure very high. But generally, diarrhea should not kill anybody. It's a preventable ailment. Sorry, it's a preventable disease, all right? And if you present late, that is only when you will probably die.
All right, now you see the president putting his cabinet together. Obviously, we're expecting a health minister. You're in that particular sector. What areas are you looking at as the most vital for him to kick off with?
Well, in this regard, rather, yeah. Environment is very, very key. What's it called now? Making sure that pipe-borne water run in every house. Okay, that is very key for it.
All right, thank you so much, public health physician Dr. Amos Azu, for joining us on the News at 10 tonight.
Thank you for having me.
The staff of the Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas have answered the call for assistance by the overseer of the International Christian Center in Edo State. The NLNG workers have donated various items, including consumables, toys and cash, to the internally displaced persons taking refuge in the camp. They told Channels Television that they were motivated to take the action, having seen the plight of the IDPs in Nigeria.
This is the International Christian Center in Uhogwa, Edo State, home to many internally displaced persons from the insurgency attacks in the northeastern part of Nigeria. It's a place that has drawn the attention of many Nigerians who are more than willing to lend a hand to the welfare of these victims of terror attacks. Like many others before them, members of this group from the Nigeria Liquefied and Natural Gas (NLNG) are here to contribute their quota.
We have come to present food items. We have come to present personal hygiene items. And we have come to present toys, clothes and books to support everyone in this camp.
A spokesperson of the group says the Let's Care initiative is motivated by the need to render assistance to the less privileged ones.
We can see that there's a lot of opportunity for improving things here, and really that's the basis for us coming here as well, to contribute to the improvement of the life of the children, the women, the men in this camp. And hopefully we pray that as a nation, in the next few months or next few years, these people can return to their normal lives. The plan is that as we have come here in October, the plan is that sometime in January or sometime in 2016, we will visit this camp and some other camps that we are aware up north in Abuja, Maiduguri and Yola as well. While accepting the presence, the camp overseer, Pastor Solomon Folorunsho, seized the opportunity to list challenges facing the facility.
The school buildings, yes, we want it completed, to be better than what we have today. And more houses to make them more comfortable. And just like what they have done, food, they need food a lot. Yes, no matter how much you bring, they are always going to consume it and then going to get finished. So these are the major areas now. Thank God for the security that is here.
This show of love from this body will go a long way in putting smiles on the faces of the occupants of this center, with the hope that the current situation of internally displaced persons will soon be a thing of the past.
When the News at 10 returns, Business News takes a look at the currency market, plus the second Stanbic IBTC Leadership Series lecture. Do join us again.